I was raised super duper Catholic in the suburbs of Chicago. Oh, I was raised so Catholic we played like Catholic games. What kinds of games? Mass. Oh yeah, how do you play mass? You get a box of better cheddars or a thinly sliced banana. You're gonna distribute those, you're gonna use them as the Eucharist and just go ahead and pass that out to your stuffed animals, and that is mass. But if you're gonna use the banana, may I recommend leaving it out for a bit and letting it brown up so that the banana can more naturally match the skin tone of real Jesus. Just a slight murmuring of laughter when you all should be losing your minds. What's happening? Is this a white Jesus crowd? What's up? Y'all are just like, wait, who am I thinking of? He has like a blonde hair and like a blonde like long beard. Chris Hemsworth. You're thinking of Chris Hemsworth. And Jesus had a smaller hammer. And was Middle Eastern, so a different guy. We played Mass, we played Birth of Christ. How you play Birth of Christ? Your sister is Mary, you were Joseph. So there were some signs, and your sister's gonna deliver a Cabbage Patch into a brown piece of Tupperware with a yellow pom-pom in it. Birth of Christ. Third game, most complicated game, Jesus, Moses. Here's how you play. It's Chicago. It's the winter. There's snow on the ground. The snow has melted, then it has refrozen, so it has that ice crust on top. You're walking to school, you're gonna walk across the ice crust between the driveways. If you make it all the way from one driveway to the next without falling through the ice crust, Jesus. But if you fall through, Moses. Which is a misunderstanding of Moses' relationship to water. He didn't so much fall through as shove it off to the sides with his mind, but Catholics don't read the Bible. No, so I was raised super Catholic. I had like no sex ed. That's not totally true. When I was 10, the women in my class, we went to the woods with a nun. This has a different ending than you think. And there was like a cabin in the woods. There's nobody in there. There's a cabin in the woods. In there, there's a nun. We don't know her. She's a stranger to us. She walks out of like a green room. She's got full habit on. If you don't know what that means, it's like a Whoopi Goldberg costume. She walks over to like an old school phonograph. She puts a needle on the record. The record starts playing. It's Billy Joel's Only the Good Die Young, which has a line in it. Catholic girls start much too late. At that line, she does a literal record scratch, and then looks at us. That's what the world thinks of you. They want to take your flower. And on the word flower, I felt in my pants what I thought was fear urine. So I went to the restroom, where I realized I had just gotten my first period. So there I was, alone in the woods, bleeding, susceptible to bear attack. And I wasn't gonna go ask that nun for help. She was scary as fuck, so I just went in like survival mode. Like a naked and afraid situation, and I transferred the entirety of a roll of toilet paper onto my hand. And then I shoved that in my pants, and then I walked back into the room, I'm sure totally normally. No, I didn't use tampons for like forever, that's true. I didn't after that, because I didn't get like a ton more information about sex other than like Billy Joel is angry with you. Like that's like that's a large portion of the information I got about sex. The only other information I got about like a result of sex is that when I was a senior in high school, we watched an abortion in religion class. Let me make it worse. That year, religion was a split class with gym. Yeah, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you would roller skate. Tuesday, Thursday, you would learn the Beatitudes or watch an abortion in class, and all of that was averaged for one single grade that would determine whether or not you got into college. Not just a stressful situation to put students in, but I look back at that time with a lot of compassion for my teachers. Just at home like, well, she didn't love watching the abortion, but she can roller skate backwards. So what is that, a C? I do not know how to average this. Also, may I say, now that I'm in the industry, a poorly shot abortion? Yeah. They could have really spruced it up with a few more lights. Yeah, I didn't use tampons. I didn't really know which holes were which. I didn't get that information. As a Catholic, you were not supposed to root around down there. You know? I didn't even know people with vaginas could have orgasms. I actually found that out on somebody else's body first, and then applied that knowledge to myself. But that was a lot later. When I say I didn't use tampons, I don't want you to think I wasn't trying. I would be locking myself in the bathroom at my parents' house for 1.5 hours at a time, unfurling the schematic that comes in the box. Just really trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. But I didn't know it was about aiming and easing. You can fit a lot. Well, this is the right hand gesture for that. I thought it was more like a running start. You know, if there's any way I could describe it, it'd be like, you know, in like Lord of the Rings or whatever, they have like a closed castle, has like a drawbridge, and they're like trying to figure out, then they go, bring out the battering ram! And an entire felled tree comes out and has like a wolf head and the mouth is on fire. I was using that amount of force or more. Just like, ah! For hours. Yeah, so I didn't really use them. I just used pads. But then I was also a swimmer. I was on the swim team. So then sometimes I just used nothing, you know? What are you thinking about? You thinking about my teammates swimming behind me? Well, if that's all you're thinking about, you forgot how laps work. It's not like just they were swimming in that water. We were all chugging open mouth through that same water. Don't cover your face. Ow, don't do that. Later in life, I have chosen to put my mouth in that same situation on purpose. Yes. It's not gross. It tastes good. I'm a vegetarian. I need the iron. If I find myself in that situation, I can feel myself getting stronger. At the end, I come up like when Wolverine comes out of the bath, just like that. And I'm that wet. You loved that one! I wasn't having sex. I had a boyfriend, but we weren't having sex because I was saving myself. Well, I was saving both of us, really. Yeah, and because we weren't having sex, I never went to the gynecologist. Because I just thought the gynecologist is where you go if you need the pill, and you just need the pill for having sex. But just because I wasn't on the pill or like having sex did not mean that I was free from terror regarding pregnancy. Oh, I was scared of being pregnant constantly. Because if you grow up as Catholic as I did, you will know the story of Jesus' conception. And that shit can get in your head. You mean to tell me Mary is a virgin and an angel just comes to her, you're already pregnant? Well, that's a scary story. Especially because Because, like, I don't know what angels look like. I know what I think they look like. They look like they have clean robes and they're very musical, playing a trumpet, gorgeous wings. But the same person who painted that painted Jesus as Chris Hemsworth. So I'm not sure it's a trusty source. Woo! What's the difference between angels and ghosts? How do we know that angels don't look like a creepy corner ghost? A lot of dirty rags, a lot of wet hair on their face. Rickety wings! Coming up to me. You're already pregnant. Oh, fuck you! Yeah, so I was scared of being pregnant all the time. I would be like in a hot tub with my boyfriend, just like, nope. Head first, and I want your lower half sticking out. A lot of times when folks go to college, they like turn over a new leaf or throw off the past or become a new man. But that's not what happened for me. Because I want to tell you about the part of Catholicism that I was into. Because I was into it. There is like a left-wing part of Catholicism, liberation theology. It's about justice. It's about cool Jesus. Do you know about this guy? Do you know about cool Jesus? Cool Jesus is a socialist. Cool Jesus is friends with the poor. Cool Jesus hangs with sex workers. Cool Jesus is with the masses. He's gonna overthrow the man. He's wearing a cool jacket. He's gonna come into the temple. He's gonna flip tables. That's the Jesus that I knew, so I thought that like Catholicism was just like this punk rock way of making social change happen. When I got to college, I got hard Catholic. Like I was a theology major because I wanted to be a priest, which is odd, because as a woman, you cannot be. I'm not sure what I thought, that the Pope was just gonna be like, you're cool. Which, by the way, could have happened because I've been to audiences with the Pope. I've been to a canonization. I've been to the sub-catacombs beneath the Vatican. Tom Hanks trying to find me is what I'm saying. So yeah, I was like super, Catholic. I had this theology major, but also my parents were paying for my college, so I wasn't gonna just go into the world with this theology major. Like, you can get a job there. So I had like a minor that sort of made it more marketable, in a business sense. So I was a theology major, but then I was a faith, peace, and justice minor. That like opens a lot of doors if you got an ampersand and stuff. Yeah, and faith, peace, and justice minor, what that really means is like, you go on these trips, you go on these solidarity trips. What that means is like, you go to like an underserved or third world country, like an underserved part of the United States, you go there, you're a college student and you are just in solidarity with the people there. And then you go back to college. So yeah, later in life I have a lot of reservations about whether or not this was a good thing. I mean, I gained a lot from it. I got to see a lot of the world. I got to meet a lot of different types of people. I'm not sure I was helping anybody. It was definitely colonialism for credit, but I still did it, And I was on one of these trips. I went to inner city Kingston, Jamaica, and then we went to a leper colony because leprosy is a curable disease, but only if you have the medicine to cure it. And we went to a home for kids that had been abandoned because of their HIV status. And we went to a school that was built on top of a city dump. I had all these experiences. It was very intense. It's a culture where white people have been the oppressor. I'm aware of that. I'm going in, not trying to fuck everything up. I'm going on all these very intense experiences the whole time. It was. A lot. And there was this woman on my trip that I now know was just my type. Because she was like sporty and smart and like cared about the world, want to make things a better place. She also had just been through a major family crisis. I'm telling you, you grow up with that much Jesus, you will develop a savior complex. And then you'll have to go to therapy later because you're approaching every relationship with a real Bob the Builder attitude. Can we fix it? Yes, I can. It's a problem. No, but this woman was amazing, and we went on this trip together, and we went back to campus, and we got like the first night back, just like this, bottle of like yellowtail wine, the big kind. And then we split it, we split it between the two of us. She said something super sexy about like poverty or whatever. I don't remember what it was. And then I leaned in and I kissed her. And your gasps are not out of place. It was incredible. This kiss, it was like the guy in Memento realizing what his tattoos meant. Plus Edward Norton being like, Brad Pitt's not real? Plus Bruce Willis being like, I'm dead? It was like all of those wrapped up in one. It was a real twist. Like a one-move Rubik's Cube solved for my little gay body. It was like watching my own life with the director's commentary turned on. Oh! Wow. I remember my first thought, she kissed me and I was like, how are we gonna die together? Because we had kissed once and I was a lesbian. So I was pretty committed. My second thought was like, oh man, I can't believe I'm going to hell. Like, shit. Worth it, but damn. Me, literally, I am. Duh, damned. Well, I walked her back to her dorm and, I woke up the next morning, just greeting the day. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I met the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. I feel so free. I feel so full of joy. I feel so itchy on my face. So what I didn't know was that when I was at that school that was built on top of a city dump, I had contracted facial ringworm. It's a fungus. It grows in a perfect circle. I had it on my face. Let's say you want to fuck with a very Catholic kid, and I know you do. Make sure she has seen the movie The Exorcist, and she knows that demonic possession can present itself as spelling on the body. Then ever wake up the next morning, first time after kissing a woman, look in the mirror, her own skin rejecting itself in a perfect circle, and probably for ovaries. I looked in the mirror just like, the devil is real. And fast. That was like 8 hours. But then, you just need like a cream. Yeah, it's like not even that big of a deal. I just went to a dermatologist and you just get like a cream, so it's like the devil's not even that powerful. Actually, knowing that, I do look at The Exorcist differently. Like I do kind of judge the parenting in that movie. And it's weird that she never tries to treat the symptoms. That there's never a moment where she's like, okay, so what about we start with a little Pepto? Kind of clear that up, and then we'll get you to the dermatologist, and then like a chiropractor. Please think that's funny! That to me is the funniest joke in the whole thing. The chiropractor bit I think is so funny. And I know you thought it was funny, but I just sometimes you need to tell people, this is what's funny. It's a sign of a good comic. You deliver a joke and then you go, excuse me, if I may. That was funny.